The Reds making some big acquisitions this offseason, and a lot of questions are going to come up as what do they do with this outfield? They got a lot of talented guys, and today we're going to go out and we're going to try to project and maybe predict where the Reds go with their opening day starting lineup. Now, I can't stress enough, spring training is going to play a big part in this, and who ends up playing where, and, depending on how well they do in spring training, they could easily earn the job considering, they are all fighting for these corner outfield positions. But starting off, batting leadoff, we have Shogo Akiyama. It's hard for me to imagine the Reds paying this guy $7 million a year, bringing him over, and not trying to, at the very least, give him the opportunity to start. And again, spring training could play a big difference here. But you talk about a leadoff hitter. This guy's got everything you need in it. The guy bats about 300. He's been, for the past 5 seasons, he's had a 385 plus on base percentage. Something the Reds desperately need is somebody in that leadoff spot that can go out there and get on base all the time. Now, obviously, we don't know how that's going to transition going from, a Japanese league to the majors, and that'll be something we'll learn further down the road here, of course. Batting second in order, we have Joey Votto. Now, again, we're going down, these first couple spots in order. You want to get guys that can get on base in front of these big hitters the Reds did pick up this offseason, plus Suarez. And Joey Votto, again, one of the best guys in the league when it comes to discipline and getting on base. Votto's last season obviously being a little bit of a disappointing one, but I still want to believe in Votto that he's going to be able to go out there, and I want to believe the Reds are obviously going to give this guy the chance, the money they're paying to go out there and prove again he can be a great 2 spot on this older type of guy. Because again, we bring it up, he can get on base, he can drive runs in. Good spot for him right here at number 2 if he can make a bounce back here this year, which I believe he can do. In the lineup, we have Eugenio Suarez, 2 straight seasons with 100 plus RBIs, not to mention 49 dingers last season. What a season he did have. We can expect Suarez probably around that 270, 280 clip for the most part. A good number for him to have right there. Again, being in that 3 spot in the order, the leading guy on this team when it comes to driving in runs, and I would be surprised if anybody else took over that spot here. Obviously, that is pending he is healthy come opening day. 4th in the lineup, we have Nick Castellanos, and then 5th, we have Mike Moustakas. So throw them both in here because I do think these 2 guys could end up being interchangeable at the end of the day, but we're going with Nick over here at number 4 because he is, as the cleanup hitter, he can drive in those runs. He does have some pop in that bat, but he's got a little bit of a better deal of consistency, shall we say, from an average standpoint here. He's going to bat about 270, 280, opposed to Mike Moustakas, who again, he's going to bring some power, but he's going to bat 240, 250, maybe 260. He's going to drive in some runs. He's going to hit some home runs, but that's, typical for the number 5 spot in the order. You normally see that type of, like I always think of the Adam Dunn rule, 40 or a 250 average and 40 home runs. Something maybe Mike can give the Reds this season. Call it optimistic, but I think it can happen in JBP. 6th in the order is Nick Senzel. Senzel, probably the guy with the brightest future in this lineup, so it's kind of surprising to see him clear down here at number 6, but we just brought up all these big names the Reds signed in free agency, and you got to think Senzel, when you talk about a top of the order guy, he did have it all of a 315 on base percentage last season. You want to see him get on base a little bit more if you're going to bat him in that 1 spot and that 2 spot, and I think he's going to grow into being a guy that can bat either upper or middle of the lineup when it comes down to it, because he's a great hitter. But right now, I think he starts the season a little bit lower in the order and possibly works his way up throughout the season. 7th in the order is Freddie Galvis. Now, Galvis looking like the odd man out, unfortunately, here when it comes to Galvis. When people talk about 1 spot in his order the Reds can work on, it's at shortstop. But Galvis, we got to give the guy some credit here. I mean, he's going to maybe bat 240, 250. I mean, we dealt with that with Kozar for how many years? And you get some bright spots in there, right? He had a couple of hot months, a couple of cold ones. But I think he's going to be that defensive cog for the Reds this season, and it's going to be important to have somebody out there that can play his position at an excelled rate, and Freddie Galvis does bring that to the Reds this season. Then rounding out our order, we obviously have Tucker Barnhart, and then the pitcher, assuming it's Luis Castillo here, and then we'll talk about it. There's a couple big names missing here, right, out of the outfield, but somebody's got to be cut from the outfield. We can't start 5 of them over here in Cincinnati. And starting off, looking at Aquino, I think it's, he did have that monstrous month last year, but then he went down, fell back down to earth in the last month of the season where he batted 236. You think that guy, again, you never know where the potential was with Aquino, but he does still have an option left, so the Reds are left with options for him, no pun intended there. And you look at Jesse Winker, who, I don't know, I love Jesse Winker. Also, I cannot say enough nice things about Jesse Winker and how much hope I have for him in his future and how well he can possibly amount to. But I've always gotten this feeling, I guess, that the Reds just, they don't feel the same way. I mean, you talk about a guy, it was a couple years in a row we heard, oh, Winker's 1 year away from making his big league, he's going to be MLB ready, and we wait another year and another year, and we finally see him get his chances, and they're platooning him in the outfield, even though he batted well. I thought he did pretty solid last season, but they never really said, here's the keys to the castle, go out there and play outfield every single day. They go out that platoon game again, and it concerns me thinking that they're willing to, you know, completely, with Winker being interchangeable, it makes me think that's going to be the case again this year. But again, you can't stress spring training enough. Winker starts hot, Shogo starts cold. Maybe you see Winker go out there, or vice versa, depending on how spring training goes. It'll be interesting to see how this Reds lineup goes this season. Looking forward to it, though. It's looking like a pretty stacked lineup for the Reds for the first time in a while.